HHDG.
Peace, HHDG. We are on another episode of HHDG Media, the podcast. Big shout out to everyone that continuously is tuning in, sharing, liking, and also, reaching out to us and giving us, our big ups or props for being able to provide an outlet for artists to speak on not only their projects, but, what's going on in their life and as well as, everything else in the world that, affects us in their music. As you can see on our bottom banner, you can go to our website, hhdgmedia.com. There you can go check out some of our previous written interviews, as well as music, our merchandise, and also upcoming events. This is always made possible through our 5-owner company, HHDG Media Inc., which consists of Rock Vader KB, The Mayor, T. Smith, Skelly Top, and myself, Wiki. For tonight, we have 2 returning guests, one repping Detroit, the other Chicago. And I gotta say, the 2 of them have a wealth of knowledge in music, as well as the talents in production. I gotta say, when you listen to their music, you not only get a glimpse of where they come from, you also get a piece of a time capsule in hip hop, which continues to thrive, and they've shown how much they can elevate from what they've grown up listening to, what I've grown up listening to, and continue to push it further and not be the same stagnant type of sound that we grew up on, but just push it forward and give a little more of the elements of their own creative style and also the equipment that's available to them these days as well. So mix that with their skills, and we got a duo known as The Troubles. They just recently dropped their new album, The Trouble Is, on April 10th. But almost 3 years ago, they dropped a dope project called Triple the Trouble with fellow Dirty Old Men member Mental to God. Big shout out to him. Now, I gotta say, before we even get into the album, when you listen to this album, you see that the work that was put in on this album, and it shows. You don't need to rush anything because the people are gonna definitely gravitate to what you put out there, and it shows the network of talented MCs that are on here that they work with, and also continuously doing their own little things on the side, posting up some dope beats on IG, as well as an ill volume of projects that I like to check out every once in a while. That's called Bounce Bash. We'll definitely talk a little bit about that as well. But it really shows when you put forth the effort to do things in a timely way, how dope the quality of music that comes out. And these 2 producers definitely showed that with their new album. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce once again on HHDG Media, Agent Smith 78. Peace, peace.
Peace. What up? What up?
How you doing?
Not too bad. How's it going, brother?
Doing good, doing good. And also, JB Swift.
Peace. Thanks for having us again, man.
Absolutely, man.
We appreciate it.
Amazing. Now, like I said in the intro, for those that are tuning in, if you really want to learn more about these 2 producers right here, definitely go check out the previous interview that we did. And it's funny because it's almost, I think it's about a month off from 3 years since we did the interview with Mental to God as well. Yeah. And that same month, Triple the Trouble also dropped. So y'all definitely need to go check that out as well.
Indeed.
I will put that in the comments for y'all. Go check that later on. So mainly what we want to talk about is the new album, The Trouble Is. And y'all definitely put in some work. And I truly, I gotta say, even though definitely a lot more features than the previous project, y'all definitely outdid yourselves.
Hey,
Thank you,
appreciate
man.
it, man.
Thank you.
And I mean, it definitely shows. And I remember, big shout out to the Swordcast, because me and Agent Smith are on there. So big shout out to Hero and Novelist.
Yes,
Got
sir.
a dope community there. Definitely dope community, and much respect to them. I spoke on, I think it was called Back for the Gusto, which
Yeah.
we'll talk about that, why you changed it to Gusto on the album. But I think it was around July that you released it last year. And I was just so hyped off of the teaser that y'all put up on IG before July that I was just kept running that back. And then, I asked Agent Smith, when the album's going to be coming out, he let me know and everything. So before we go right into it, tell us when this process started and how come it didn't drop around the last year as opposed to this year.
Yeah.
Hey, yes, I'm gonna let you go ahead and go, bro.
All right. This started was maybe about 2 years ago,
Probably longer than that.
maybe 3.
Yeah.
I think it was probably not far after
Triple the
we
trouble.
released Triple the Trouble. Yeah.
Okay.
So we started with the idea like, okay, what we gonna do next? I think we took maybe a couple months off from that. Then we were like, all right, it's about time to go back. And we just started, collaborating, getting beats together, and trying to put it together and figuring out who we could get, who we could reach out to, things like that. But the reason it didn't drop when we thought it was, real life, real old man life, jobs and other things happen.
Understood.
So
Life.
I was my new job. I travel a lot. So if I'm gone for like months at a time, it's like I get back to it when I get back, and and it just kept pushing it out. But also, everybody has their own timetable, so you might send a track out and you don't know when you're going to exactly get it back. So you're kind of like, well, they're going to deliver, so you're hoping like, all right, let me wait and make sure I get these tracks and get it done right. So that takes time, but I think it came out when it was supposed to.
Exactly.
I think this was exactly when it was supposed to drop. So I'm not too mad to delay it. It seemed to work out.
All right. Cool. So initially, the guest featured track Gusto with Ken Starr, DJ Clark, the Spark, and Camber. Was that originally going to be the first release?
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say, man. We was like tossing around like all kind of ideas, and that's one of the songs that came together. Yeah, thank you. That's the one that came together the quickest, I should say.
Right.
And me, I'm like always in a rush to like put stuff out, So like really, like if I wouldn't have been like pressing the issue, I don't think we would even put it out then, because like it really didn't get like like the response that we figured that it was gonna get, especially with like Ken and Camber, like them cats is legends. But just like AS said, I feel like it dropped at the right time. Like this is when everybody was supposed to really hear it and like feel the track on the whole album.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that that track in particular, when we got it back, we were like, okay. I think that we knew we had something when that one came back. We were like, oh, okay. Like it was kind of, I know we had some other things cooking at that point. I think that was one of the main finished ones we got back. And when we heard what they came back, we were like, we knew we were on to something at that point.
All right. So Triple of Trouble had Mental of God, DJ Clark the Spark, and DJ RBI, and guest feature from Northeast Beast.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. What made you want to go and have the amount of features that you have on this project, and also I believe it's 17 tracks.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm correct? Yeah, 17 tracks.
Let me see. I'll take this one. So Triple the Trouble was just a concept album with me, AS, and Mental the guy. And Mental is he's a crazy dope MC, you know what I mean? And he likes to like have his own songs, you know, like for him, you know what I mean, and who he made them with. So that's why primarily it was just him. And then him and Northeast, they sound great together, like on any track that I've ever heard them, you know. And it was and Northeast was always willing to work with us like real quick. So that album came together like really easier than this one because we had to wait on, you know, a lot of moving parts and stuff with this one. But
Right.
All right. With these features, tell us how, you know, your whole planning and execution started out with this. Were there particular MCs and DJs that you wanted on this? And then, you know, how did that play out throughout would you say 3 years you've been working on this about?
Yeah, give or take, yeah. I think it was basically we were just figuring out who could we get, you know, who could we reach out to that we thought would actually, you know, respond or, you know, be willing to work. It was just going through like, hey, you want to try, you know, so and so, like, all right. I think Novelist doing verses. I can probably get a Novelist verse. Prowess, you know, Prowess the Testament is dope. I think she sound good over there. So I hit her up and it was just kind of going back and forth and seeing who we knew and who we could get. And, you know,
dope.
For the most part, it worked out. You know, I think it may be only a few that didn't really come through, I think.
Yeah, probably like 1 or 2.
Yeah. But besides that, everything else, we got who we wanted.
Dope. So when did you finally say, this is it? You know, we got everything we want. Let's finalize this, do the final, you know, mixing and mastering and everything.
That's hard to say, man, because I've listened to this album probably like 1 billion times. You know what I mean? like in the, you know, all kind of like different sequences and orders. You know, I'll say when we got the final song back, and I had kind of like put together like this little rough sequence of, you know, like how I wanted the album to go, like just cohesively. You know what I mean? Like no dead air in the album. And it just kind of came together when we got the last track from who did we get the last track from? Was it
I think it was Impulse?
Yeah, from Impulse.
Impulse. Yeah, I think Impulse was the last one.
And we got all the scratches from Rugged, and everything sounded good, you know, and we were just like, yeah, it's just time. We need to quit, you know, messing around and just go ahead and drop it. We feel like, you know, Cass is ready to hear
it. Yeah, you want to hold on to something forever, and then, you know, another year, and it's another year, and it's like,
yeah, we don't even know if we'll be here, you know what I mean? Like, so it's time to put it out.
Yeah. Yep. Now, in the intro, I mentioned having that feel of not just a time capsule with hip hop, but also your own signature sound and, you know, elevating that. The reason I say that is every time I listen to this, there's certain tracks that remind me of well-known producers, one of them being Pete Rock. And then there was, I have to go back and listen to it again to tell you exactly which one it was. But, you know, the Mole Men, I've listened to a lot of their music throughout the years. Yeah. And I definitely got a little bit of that vibe as well, too, listening to the new album. How do y'all push yourselves production-wise?
I'll let you start with that, JB.
Okay. So me making music, man, it's something that I got to do. You know what I mean? Like I use it as therapy. You know, I work long hours, man, you know, and sometimes, you know, I can't even go to sleep unless I come down here and start something. You know, everybody that knows me knows that I go by the slogan or mantra, whatever you call it, is die empty. You know, like I'm serious about that. I don't want to leave Earth with no ideas, you know, nothing that I had plans to do or put out, you know, as far as the music goes, you know, and as well as anything else, you know. So I just I'm just always putting out stuff, you know, like I'm about to put something out tonight. Actually, my birthday is tomorrow, so I'm gonna put a new Bounce Batch series starting tonight at midnight.
Ah,
So I'm just always putting something out, man. And I feel like you know, people that I work with, they kind of get drawn into that. You know what I mean?
mhm.
I know they feel about their music the same way. You know, they want to push it, they want to get it heard. So, you know, no half stepping, man. Just get it out.
Yeah. Let's see. For me, pretty much similar, but you know, JB is, you know, he's a machine with pumping out beats, you know, per day. Like me, I'll be honest, I'm too much in my head. So you know, I take one beat and I sit there and I overanalyze the beat. So that's why I think my process is slower. But like working on the project, just the insight of how it kind of usually goes. Like a lot of times he'll start something and then I finish it. That's basically how it goes. You know, he gets the idea started and I go and see where I can add. And I don't know if we're consciously trying to, you know, do something different or push things forward every time.
Mhm.
I just think we're just trying to be dope. And in the quest for dopeness, you know, it's just, you know, certain things come out and I mean, I'm sure we both want each project to be better than the last if you can, you know.
Right.
So
Right.
I feel like
Yeah.
if you start with our first one, which was the double trouble, and then you keep going to triple, and I feel like you can see the progression because we're trying, you know, not to say it's stagnant, but I don't know. I mean, I think if you love music, you'll come up with something. As long
Right.
as you love music, what you're doing, something was going to pop up. So you know, just try to add what we can. Hopefully, get some people that are dope that want to be a part of it, and try to get it, you know, out to as many people as we can.
True, true. Now, JB, I like what you said. You want to leave when you leave this earth. You know, you want to have everything out there that you put forth, whether it be an idea, your production. You want to have that put out there. You don't want to leave anything behind.
Right.
Um, I've as I've gotten older, I've noticed like when certain ideas come to mind, I either write it in my notes on my phone or I take out my notepad and I write that down. I'll get back to it later on. But
Right.
one thing I've noticed that I do a lot, and martial artists can relate to this too, because that's how certain newer styles have developed, is the power of observation. Seeing people and animals or just nature in their
Right.
natural habitat of going through life. And I have certain ideas because of certain hobbies I have, and then seeing other people, you know, do those things, you know, I might not be good at it, but I'll go pitch that idea to them because it's not going to benefit me to hold it in.
Right.
So go speak to that person that's what they're experiencing, talented at. So with saying that, um, after my accident, with when I got hit by the SUV and everything,
Mm.
during my recovery, which I'm much better. I still do everything, and back to my daily regimen in the morning. Still a little bit of physical therapy weekly. Um, when I got my new turntables, I still had issues with looking down at the mixer and everything. I still got a certain pain in the back, so continued to hold off and do certain things with my rehabilitation and the resistance bands that physical therapy said, do these when you don't come in and everything. And, it's helped. Um, but I noticed just going through my day of seeing how important it is that, to you appreciate life. So again, back to JB, don't hold back, be grateful and put forth whatever, you're willing to do. That's, not undermining to others, but
Right.
in a progressive, positive way.
Yeah, man, you got to do it, man, and God bless, bro. I had no idea that you was in an accident like that, man. So like you're a testament right now. Like even having this show rocking, bouncing back from that is heavy. So like salute out to you, man.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure,
Deep.
man. I guess just to add on to that a little bit, not to be Debbie Downer, but the reason I'm still doing what I'm doing is because of people that are gone. So I lost my best friend from kindergarten to random violence. He was just starting to try to produce. So that is why I continue to go, because I'm like, he's not here, continue. So I have to be a person that keeps going, and people in the dirty old men that we've lost over the years. And, it's like, hey, unfortunately, they're not here. So we got to keep going in their absence and make sure we do right, because they would do the same for us. So that's kind of what also was always in the back of my mind. So I may have my moments where I'm like, I don't know, nobody want to hear my crap. But the next day I'll be like, you know what? No, I need to keep going.
Yeah,
I got to keep pushing. So
yeah, same here, bro.
Deep.
My mom was like my biggest fan, one of my biggest supporters. And it's funny that we having this interview because I buried her 6 years ago today, like on the 28th.
Wow.
And my birthday is tomorrow.
bless.
And my mother was like always, like get your butt down there and make something, make me a mix CD, make me something, you know what I mean?
I
And
love that.
anytime I felt like I wanted to quit, especially after she passed, man, it's like I could literally like feel her on my shoulder, like, no, like get your butt in that basement, And I give my wife mad props, because like she's a big, she's like, baby, you got something to do. You know what I mean? Didn't you say you had this, mix you had to do or whatever? You know what I'm saying? She keeps me going on like some days I don't even feel like coming down there. I make every excuse. It's too cold. Oh, my back hurt. You know what I'm saying? My chair ain't right. You know what I'm saying? But, at the end of the day, I try to get down there, because I feel like I want to make my mama proud as well. As well as Mav and Dav and
Bless
Tashir
Girl
and BG. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the rest of the crew, the ones that's still living. You know what I mean? We still here. Ain't no reason why we not doing nothing. We all got this equipment. We spent thousands of dollars on, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Get busy.
Yeah. Yep. That's that great determination and being persistent and resilient. And it's always great to have that type of support around you to keep you going.
Yeah.
For sure.
So production wise, how did y'all two work together on which tracks you're gonna put on here? And is there certain people, they just have that synergy, that chemistry, so they almost like finish each other's sentences when it comes to your talents, your production. So how does it work out when y'all created the new album, The Trouble Is?
I guess I'll go. It's pretty much the same as all of them, actually. To be honest.
Yeah.
He'll send, like I said, he does, million beats per day. So he'll send like, skeletons or ideas my way. A ton of them. He's like, here you go. Poof. So I'm like, all right, cool. So then I just go through, start with each one, and I was like, all right, listen to them. Okay. See what I think can go where, or what can be added and things of that nature. And then we just send it back and he's like, oh, okay, it's dope, or oh, it's too much, or whatever the case may be. And then we're like, all right, who do you hear on that one? You know what I think, I think Mental and, Northeast might fit there, and then we'll, shoot the track over. And that's pretty much how it all went, It was just send stuff. I do what I do, send it back. You think it's cool? Yep, cool. All right, bet. Send it out. And keep moving on to the next till we got the right number of tracks.
Yeah, the process is pretty easy with me and AS, man. We two like-minded individuals as far as like the music and stuff that we listen to outside of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like I know we both listen to a lot of jazz.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I'm always hearing stuff, you know, and I always got ideas. I'll run down here and make a little quick 2-minute beat, even if I don't plan on finishing it. You know, I have it there, you know, like I'm humming stuff into my notes, into my phone, looking crazy all day, and I try to come back downstairs and finish it up. And if I feel like you know, AS can throw some magic on it, you know, I'll send it to him. And it always comes back like he knows how. Like I don't know what he do. Like AS is a magician. Everything that I've ever seen him came back. It's just illustrious. You know what I mean? Like crazy. So we work well together, man. Like it's just like that.
Yeah. I mean, not much thought really. You know, to be honest, like, all right, cool, boom. Once you, like you said, we similar music wise, and that's when he reached out to me because of that. You know, came in, he was like, you know, yeah, we kind of have similar things. We should do something. Like, all right.
Yeah, I figured that out quick. I found that out real fast.
And you know, I will say, also just with the process, like in some aspects, this is like some of the hardest stuff I have to do. Mainly because if you get something, even if it's a skeleton, but it's a really dope skeleton, you're like, man, and you're like, I don't want to mess it up, because there is a point where you can do too much, and then you're like, bro, like you done, you know, like who's supposed to get on this? Too much room, and you kind of have to really. So it may take a little bit longer than normal, but you know, out of respect for my bro and making sure I don't want to mess up anything else, you got to make sure if I'm doing it, I'm try to do it the best of my abilities and make sure, you know, get some sounds that kind of work out. So it's good. It's kind of good to do it because, you know, as hip hop producers, you're kind of, you know, by yourself. A lot of times you're in your own head, so it's kind of good to kind of hear somebody else and you hear them do something. And you're like, oh, okay, I may not have thought about that. Oh, okay, well, you did this, but I hear where you can actually do something else here, or I hear he kind of chopped it up, but there's some faint horns in the back. But maybe I can, you know, replay and put, you know, a horn line over the top of that, and that'll, you know, fill the beat out. And that's kind of how, you know, it kind of goes.
Yeah, just bouncing ideas off each other is a blessing. Having somebody else that could hear what you did, and then it translates well with them as well. They can understand it. You know, a lot of production teams don't go like that. Everybody trying to have their one sound, you know, they own particular sound, and stuff can clash. You know what I mean? But we make sure that that never happens.
Yep.
Was there a bucket list of MC or MCs that you did get on here?
Yeah, man. I mean, we got Craig G on here. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm still bugging. Like I listened to that song, man, and you know, Rusty Jux is, you know, just even having him on the album is crazy. But Craig G, you know what I'm saying? Like the cat that started the symphony off.
Right.
You know, like I bug out every time I hear that. Finale. I've been a fan of his for years. You know, Ken Starr, Camber,
Vic Spencer, you know.
Yeah, Vic Spencer.
Yeah. That second track,
Yeah. I'm still amazed, man. Vic been rocking with us, and you know, and I appreciate it. You know, like I know AS, you know, he from Chicago.
Yeah. From the crib, as we say. So yeah, you know. And he gave it the perfect verse, to be honest.
Yeah, he did.
Kick off the album. I was like, man, he didn't ask for nothing better. I was like, oh, okay.
Classic Vic too. Classic Vic, man.
For sure. I mean, you know, you can always shoot for bigger stars or whatever, but I think we got some of the best people we could reach out to.
Yeah,
and, you know, they all killed it. So
yeah,
it's all in the talent.
For sure.
Yeah. Now I'm curious. Number one, first, shout out to Finale being on here. Your new album, I'm Good, is dope. Number one. I mean, The Good. Sorry, The Good. Dope album. You know, been listening to him for a long time. I was before. You know, when I saw the track list and I saw, you know, the artists that you had on here, I was bugging out myself as a fan, seeing who was on here. So that's one of the reasons why I asked, if there was a particular bucket list. But finale, wow, that one, really caught me.
Hey, when I heard that was solidified, like, man, you couldn't have couldn't have came nothing better, because I ain't never heard anything, subpar from finale ever.
No,
Ever.
ever.
Like,
Yep.
like
Ever
always killer, so.
on anything, man.
Anything.
Yeah, we owe Finale a lot, man. He's done, like he did a track for us on the last Dirty Old Man album, the track that I produced called The Third with Fields, and he's on that too, and he was gracious about everything. He was like, man, don't pay me nothing, bro. They just send the beat, let's work. And that's genuine to me. Like most cats, you can't even approach like that
At all.
at all.
No.
At all.
No,
Like I reached out to a few people that didn't even respond. You know what I mean? And I reach out to anybody. Like I'm in casting DMs real quick. I figured, I asked you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right? Like, why not?
Yeah, I know what we can offer over here. You know what I'm saying? Let's work together. But no, Finale is a real one though, man.
And then we had the Swordcast own novelist on the joint, B Water. Crazy with prowess. That was definitely right up their alley. Both artists.
Oh yeah, because we got the novelist joint first, his verse back first, and then as soon as I heard it, I was like, man, I just knew prowess. I was like, yo, I mean, it's the lane. It was like, come on, like, that had to be. So, hey, she's cool people, man. She ain't never done anything whack either. So she's another one that I knew, like, man, she agrees she's gonna kill it, and she did. So
yeah, her verse was crazy, man. Like how you reference the Kraken. You know what I mean? Like said he trying to swim back. Like that's one of the illest verses I probably heard on anybody's album.
Yeah, she's a beast with it. So yeah, that was, couldn't ask for a better pairing like that.
True. And then, another surprise for me, and definitely ecstatic about it, was the last track. It's a vibe. Spectacular Mirror.
Yeah. That's the bros, man. That's the bros.
Yeah. Shout out to them. They got a project coming soon.
Yeah,
too.
coming out. It's crazy too. It's crazy. But Amari, man, I just met Spectac in person last year down in Detroit. But I've been rocking with Amari for years. You know what I mean? I never met him in person, but just sending stuff back and forth, and telling him how I really rock with his first album. And we just grew a mutual respect of each other's music. And he was willing to do it. This is my second time working with Amari.
Right.
So
and
Spectac is Spectac, man.
Yeah.
What else can I say about Spectac?
Hey, man. I know what that Mama Say, Mama Sa, Mama Makusa. That was that nice one to join. Yeah, that's what I remember first. But that came back quick too. Yeah, they salute to them. Yeah, they didn't play around with it. They knocked it out quick and came out dope.
That's dope. Yeah, man. And another shout out to Spectac was I have his 2 books. He's very inspirational, and I appreciate what he does also outside of the music. For
with the schools.
Not just for men in the schools. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, amazing work.
Hey, love to see it.
As we are all older men, and we definitely have spoken on life and how, with the music and everything, how it intertwines. Me, for music, it's my therapy. I like to start my day off with jazz music when I get up in the morning, start doing my workout routine and everything. It's a certain type of ease me, to get through the day at, start off the day. And
Oh yeah.
Old music, newer jazz music, it doesn't matter. It's just
Hmm.
it has those certain sonics and frequency. It hits differently to
Right.
get you right in the morning. Um,
Yep.
what type of music does that to you at any given moment?
Just good music, man. I listen to jazz in the morning, like when I'm going to work out. It's nothing too boom bappy usually. Unless it's like somebody just dropped a new album that I want to listen
Right.
to on the way to
Hmm.
work. But usually it's like some older jazz, like 80s jazz, Spyro Gyra, or like the Yellow Jackets or something like that, going to work, Pat Metheny or something. But on the way home, then I'm rocking. You know what I mean? Because like I didn't got through the day, but in the morning, yeah, I like to like start it off a little smoother. Like chords and melodies and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm actually the opposite on that. Usually in the morning, I'll be tired. Like, bro, I need some motivation. So I need some. You just sit there and do like, okay, cool, let's go. Get in the car and roll. But when it's time to come home, that's when I got like Sade or Kenny Burrell or something. Something to that effect where I can kind of chill out, and that's kind of musically. That's probably my default, probably. Like that kind of jazz or soul Sade kind of stuff is where
Hmm.
I like to be at. So sit there, relax, chill, and then get into whatever I can get into as far as making music or whatever.
That's dope. Dope. You mentioned inspired, Jara, just triggered a old memory. Born and raised on Staten Island. My
Word.
very first time seeing them, I was a child. There's a place called Snug Harbor Botanical. It's a beautiful place. It's still there as well. And my mom took me to a jazz festival that they had there, and that's my first time hearing of and knowing the Spiral Gyra.
Mm.
Oh man, I
So
bet that was amazing as a
yeah,
kid, man. Because I
Yeah,
remember
man.
I used to love morning dance, and the shaker song as a kid. I didn't even know who they was, but we had a jazz
Mhm.
station out here called WJZZ, and it was
Mhm.
always on, multiple times a day. And I just learned to love that song. And then my mom bought the album, and I remember like the album cover was beautiful. It had like fairies or something on it,
Yep.
mm,
And as a kid, I used to just love staring at it, like so that just made me love them. Like the sound matched what I was looking at on the cover
Hmm.
to me. So I got to see them too, man. I probably seen Spyro Gyra probably 4 or 5 times now, uh, up to my age now. You know what I mean? Certain festivals and stuff, but it's one of my favorite groups, man.
Nice.
so
Yep. So, speaking of covers, who created that, and give us the backstory on the two of you, back to back, and also the cityscape in the back as well.
You got this, AS?
yes, our DOM bro Netmaker hooked it up. I mean, honestly, we didn't have much real input. Like, yo, we doing the album. We kind of gave him the name, and he got to work. He came back. This was one of the things he came back with. We were like, okay. I mean, it kind of got us in the mode. We like, okay, this look official,
Mm-hmm.
So he sent that, uh, and then I will say that my wife did help out with she added like the text, and she did a little cleanup on it and everything else, just to
Nice.
Yep, shout
get
out to
it
Mrs.
ready.
Smith.
Yeah, Smith always in the back cheering me on,
Yep.
and both of us. So yeah, appreciate you. And her birthday was the other day. Birthday again.
Happy belated.
But
Happy
All
belated.
close.
but yeah, that was pretty much it. He sent it. We was like, okay, dope. I mean, of course, with the seat in the back is always try to be a kind of a mixture of somewhere Michigan and Chicago kind of a deal. And that's always the thing.
Yeah, Net. He did the last one. He did Triple the
Yeah,
Trouble.
Okay.
So he just official with the art, man. You know, and he just always give us what we looking for. He's never sent us something that we was like, nah, bro. You know, like do something else. You know, this one right here was fire.
Yeah.
I was still amazed, like how did he get like our profiles to look just like us?
Yeah, that
like that. That was almost scary. It was
Yeah,
almost scary, man. I'm like, yo.
So
But
that was strictly all him from scratch?
yeah.
Wow.
We sent him nothing.
Nope.
Wow.
Came back, I was like, damn, I'm like, I don't remember taking a picture like that.
Yeah, we never,
Like, I don't know where he got to be. Yeah, he did that though.
True talent right there.
Yeah, that's fire,
Much
man.
respect.
Me and Agent never even met each other in real person until what, last year?
Oh
no,
yep,
we
no,
met.
no, it was before that.
Yeah, no, it was the first DOM retreat.
Yeah, really quick, because
That was real quick.
Yeah, before you went DOM.
Right, like
Yeah, because it
2
was
months
like
or something before.
yeah, about like a couple of months. Yeah, 'cause it was the Dirty 30, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, we did that, but I was like really quick.
Yeah, but we was able to like really sit down and talk last year about everything.
Yeah.
That's great. I would like to go through each track, have y'all, tell a little bit about the development and creativity in it. But before we do that, I always like to bring up the element of the DJ, because y'all had DJ Rugged One and DJ Clark the Spark on here.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Salute them brothers.
Yeah. Helped us out again as always.
Once again.
Indeed. Tell us how, when you created each track, how you have that mindset of this MC would probably work well on this track. How does that play out as far as with the DJs as well for the album?
That was nothing really super spectacular, to be honest. It was kind of like, we got like subverse it back, or if someone couldn't figure out a hook, or we kind of, got something back and we're kind of like, man, we got a little space here.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're like, man, maybe we can, hit up who we know, like Clark or, Rugged One, and see if we just send them like, hey, we got this. These are the songs. This is a gap. If you think you can, put something in, in between and fill it out, let us know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I said, the Gusto, Clark killed that one. So he sent that back really quickly. Then Rugged One was, like the 11th hour kind of a deal. Like we're like, hey, you need to do it. He showed proof. He came through for us. So yeah,
that's dope.
That was pretty much it.
Cool. All right, so let's start off with the intro. You got the voicemails. Definitely giving y'all your props on Triple of Trouble, Double Trouble, and then people really expressing, which and I love hearing this. I'm still digging, Triple of Trouble. Y'all about to drop another one?
Right, man. Gadget.
Good old Gadget.
Yep.
Yeah, shout out to them too. Fireplace Records.
Yes, sir. In DMV, go check them out.
Yep.
That one, that was, anybody that's in our age bracket, or even hip hop knows the I chill, Gang Star. So yeah, it was basically
exactly what I was thinking about.
Yeah. So that basically where that idea came from, and we just like, all right, see if we can get people to send us a couple of voicemails. We didn't bribe them or tell them to say anything nice. We just like, yo, you can send them, give us something. And yeah, the brothers came through, DOM bros came through. We just put that on together.
Yep. That was pretty easy to slap together right there, but it made its point.
Right.
Yep. Now I didn't see anywhere where it broke down the production credits. So before we go further with the tracks, while we go through them, let the people know, if you produced it together, or it was JB that did this one, or AS that did the other. So for the intro, who was it, both of you or just one of you?
The intro was me.
Okay.
The
No, that was
AS, he mixes it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I like to think that he's a part of like every track.
Okay,
But
indeed.
But as far as like starting this, the idea and finding like like the pieces of that song, that was me. And then I reached out to Vic as well.
Okay.
for the second track you mean.
Oh, for the
Second track,
second track, we ain't even on that one. Okay, yeah. So no,
Yeah.
AS produced the beat for the first one,
Okay.
Right.
for the intro
All right.
solely.
All right. And then the second track, Words from Vic, featuring Vic Spencer.
Yeah. And then so I started that one off, and then sent it to AS, clean it up a little bit. Then we sent it over to Vic, and he sent that back and blessed us.
Yep. Nice and easy.
It's funny you say that. That's Vic's flow too. Nothing's forced. All these years I've listened to him, it feels like he's speaking to us. He's not
Exactly.
rhyming to us. He's speaking to us.
Yeah, that's why I love that video that he just did for us. Like he literally just sitting in his garage, just talking to you. Spitting his verse. That came out crazy.
Yep. Salute him again. Appreciate you.
Dope. Track 3, 2 King, featuring Silverback Lauren, Finale, cuts by DJ Rugged One.
Yeah, shout out to Silverback, man. Silverback, man. If you don't know about Silverback in his own right, as far as like being a producer,
crazy.
And his verses are crazy, but like this cat's beats is like unbelievable.
Amazing.
Yes, sir.
It's unbelievable. So shout out to Silverback. So me and Finale have been kind of like talking, like Facebook Messenger and stuff. And I asked him, because we already knew that we was gonna do this album. And I asked him if he would be, willing to participate again, like right after the Dirty Old Man joint. And he was like, yeah. He's like, send it over. So, same process. I sent AS the skeleton. He put the meat on the skeleton, you know what I'm saying? And then we sent it out to Finale. Finale sent his over to Silverback, and then the rest is history. Oh, and then shout out to Rugged.
Yep.
This is just like he said at the 11th hour with the cuts.
Coming through.
Yeah, came through. I mean, it was like we had some space. We kind of like, hey, we got this track, man. It's a little gap at the end, or whatever. And he just, without a whole lot of input, he's heard the song and he was able to, come up with the perfect stuff for it. So, many props to him again.
Dope. Track 4, Megabus, cuts by DJ Clark Spark, featuring Fields and Rod Wallace.
Man, shout out to Rod. Yeah, the album that just dropped too. Just a side note, Regalia dropped last week. Rod Wallace. We're both on there. If that helps anybody, but check it out because it's dope overall. But get that shameless plug out the way. Now we can get back to it. That was the same process. Both of us again. He started off, and then I added what I could add to it. I guess the secret of that is that there was a project that was supposed to be out before this one, and that song was actually going to be on that. But we figured like, well, we can either have this sit in the vault for another mysterious amount of time, or go ahead and add that to the fold, and it fits. So we went ahead and added that to it.
Yeah, that had to be on there. It made sense. Like that was like the Trouble Is track that we had up to that date. So it was like it had to be on it.
Yeah, it had the right sound and
the right vibe.
Right vibe. Intro, Midwest thing. Yeah, I mean it's all just fit perfectly.
That's dope. Next up, Iron Sharpens Iron with the Bad Seed, who's been working a lot with Silverback Lauren.
Yeah.
V Styles.
Hey, salute to B Styles, man.
Yep. Salute to V.
Yeah, he came through. Well, I won't even mention that. But yeah, he came through, man. That's the bro right there. He came through for us on that one. Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, that's all AS right there. I rode his coattails on that one.
Hey, that's all about the group at the end of the day. Like we all winning, but and I mean if you listen to Triple the Trouble, you'll hear that beat. That's one of the random, let Pete Rock beat interludes. Yeah. That's actually it was on there. So yeah, so he sent that through, and B Style was, was geeked to do something to it. So yeah, he came through and laced us. And
yeah, shout out to V. That's actually gonna be on his album too.
Yes.
What did he say? May, second week of May or something like that.
Next week.
Next week?
Yeah, he was. Last I heard, he said possibly next week. If not, it'll be I think the 9th.
Okay.
So if it's not next week, then it's whenever the 9th is. I had to look at a calendar, but yeah. So it's coming soon. So hey, more the merrier.
Tell us about the visuals for that track.
And that wasn't us.
Mm-mm.
That was
I think that was all V. Like I think he had it made.
V.
Some of his people or something. Yeah, we didn't have nothing to do with that. He just said that he was going to put some visuals out.
Okay.
And then we looked up one day and it was out.
yeah. Quick look back. I was like, dang, already? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting what he came back with. Like, oh, okay. Like, hey, that worked out a little crispy. So I'm like, oh, okay. Hey, I mean, that would just be about. Hey, we all. I mean, it's enough room for all of us in here. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't have to be. We got to fight for only one group or one whatever in the underground or whatever. Like, nah. So.
No, I like to see everybody shining, man, especially if we're supposed to be on the same team. You know what I mean? Like, I go hard for any team I'm on, so I like to see my fellas, doing well.
Yes, sir.
Everybody I'm involved with.
That's the way it should be. I mean, friendly competition, we already know that, hip hop is competition, but at the same time, you want to see everybody win, that is in your camp and is actually putting out the proper work to keep this culture going. So y'all definitely contributing, and everyone that's involved definitely been contributing.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Track 6, Gusto, cuts by DJ Clark the Spark, featuring Camber and Ken Starr.
All right. So Gusto, I started Gusto off. Sent to be to, let me see. I'll put it on a bounce batch first, and then I think somebody hit me up about it. I can't remember. Somebody did hit me up about it, but I decided that it sounded like Ken Starr and Camber. You know what I'm saying? Like shout out to Kev Brown. Like that sound. It felt like that they could rock that for real. So I reached out to Camber first, and then I reached out to Ken Starr, and I was kind of nervous reaching out to Ken Starr because I'm like, man, like, hey, Ken, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know if he was even gonna rock with us. Like, he could have been like, I don't know y'all, you know what I'm saying? But through Gadget, like he knew about the Dirty Old Man movement, and he knew Mav and everything, you know what I'm saying? So respectfully, he was willing to work with us, and it came together like that.
Yeah, same process.
Yep, same process, back and forth.
And
finished.
Yep. That's dope. Wow. Next track. Check it out. Tell me if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Kadir 7.
Yep.
Rye Bread, and then cuts by DJ Rugged One.
Yep.
Yep. That's that's JB's peoples right there. You know.
Yeah. That's my group, man. I'm in a group with Ryber and Kadir Seven. Both of them live in Pennsylvania.
Alright.
Our group is called the Preservation. We got a few. Well, we got one Preservation album out. I got one album out with Kadir Seven, and then I got like 5 albums out with Ryber.
Yeah,
So
all dope.
that's how me and him started. And then we brought in well, Kadir was brought in by him, and we just always made that work. So like knowing what we was pushing for on this album, I had to have him on there, because like, at the end of the day, that's my original team, you know what I
Right.
mean? And I wanted them involved, and it's always love with them. They was like, yeah, send it to me. He filmed the video of them in the studio doing it, so I got to like
Dope.
see all the behind the scenes. And shout out to Josh and I forget the name of the studio out there, but shout out to him though. If he watching the interview, shout out to you, Josh. But they sent it back, and like I never, I'm never worried about what they gonna do on the track. It's proven. So shout out to K7 and Ryber
Yeah.
and Rugged.
Yeah, Rugged again.
Rugged, yeah.
with the
11-hour
perfect
Rugged.
with the perfect scratch cuts,
Yes, sir.
perfect hook cuts every
Yep.
time.
Man, yeah, that was another easy one. That was, like I said, it was people, so that came back with the quickness, and it was quality, and not to worry about it. So yeah, salute to them brothers again.
Yep.
Yeah, I gotta go back and check the that Preservation album y'all did, because I know 2 of my tracks was I think it was Electric and Take a Hit.
Oh yeah! Wow. Yeah. Yep. Electric, man. I ain't listened to the album in so long. I got to run that back.
Yeah,
I love that album, man. I forgot.
and joints was dope.
Dope. We are on track 8, featuring Sam Poetry and cuts by DJ Rugged One, and that is Will I.
Same process.
One of my favorites.
But, yeah, that will, man. I mean, Sam Poetry is probably one of the best artists, period. That we, beats, rhymes, once he go on his IG, and you can hear what kind of crazy beats he puts out and rhymes to match. I mean, I'll say he probably had one of the best freestyles I've ever heard. He was on Gadget show it some years back, and he was doing a freestyle. That joint was flawless. So Sam Poetry always delivers. So it was like a no-brainer to try to get him involved, and he's part of the team. So
Yeah, Sam is family, man.
Yeah.
Sam is fam. I mean, what more can we say about Sam?
yeah,
He doing his thing, and he continues to do it. He continues to show people that you can work hard. And you have people all around the world rocking with you, and not even know it. You know what I mean? Like, so Sam is definitely a good dude. That's our brother for real.
yep. And just dropped a new single last week.
Yeah, with Rampage.
Rampage on it. So yeah, y'all might want to go check that one out as well.
Yeah, it's fire.
Man, crazy. Yeah, it feels like back in back that Flip Mode Squad kind of bounces the beat. So yeah, check that out, y'all.
I like how Rugged One's cuts go seamlessly with Sam Poetry, saying Will I, and then going with the cuts back and forth.
Yeah, that was.
Yep.
Couldn't ask for anything better. I was like, oh, that was perfect
That was
response.
the
Each one, I was
perfect,
like,
perfect.
And then Sam's flow, it always seems just like effortless. Like everything is just like he probably, I don't even know how his work ethic is, but when you listen to him, it just feels like he's like a one take and it's done with no hiccups or anything.
Man, yeah, like you can definitely tell that Sam has put in his 10,000 hours as far as like rapping and on the beats.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then as far as the performing as well.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't do all of that and be missing one. You know what I'm saying? Like Sam is he's a total artist for real.
Track 9, Knock Knock, featuring Rusty Jokes, Craig G, and Flow Hypnotic.
Same process.
Yep.
You know, start with JB and my little stuff, sent it out, and look up, and then I see Craig G. I'm like, what the hell? So yeah, that was
Yeah. Shout out to Flow Hypnotic out of Queens, as a matter of fact, from a group named District 22. Him and my man Shivam Pandey. Shivam is in India, but they got a group called District 22. So I've done a couple beats, actually songs for their previous albums. Me and Flow Hypnotic go back probably like 10, maybe 12 years through a particular music form. And we was all dealing with this cat that was in London that was kind of like, you know, he was kind of fleecing us a little bit, you know, had us sending in like our music for his albums, and then he'll put it out. Then we wouldn't get no props or nothing, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, like people was buying and we wouldn't get no money, you know. So, you know, off of that cat. But anyway, so Flow Hypnotic is friends with Craig G and Rusty Jux. I have a song with District 22 with Rusty Jux on it and Sadat X called Again.
Yep.
So
That one.
you know, it was just it was natural that I was gonna reach out to them for it, you know. And then just like AS said, I didn't know he was finna go get you know, Craig G. You know, Craig G just popped up on the track, and I was like, oh my god.
yeah.
Like for real, like that was just a head scratcher, man, because like Craig G, man, cold chilling, you know,
That's
duck alert,
crazy.
all of that, man, is crazy. So shout out to Flo, you know, shout out to him for like putting that together.
Big props to him.
Yeah,
That's amazing. Everything works out for a reason, right?
Yeah.
indeed.
It's about who you know.
Right.
Be good to people, you know.
That's it.
Right.
That's it. That's it. Just be a good person.
Yep. Indeed. We're on track 10, featuring one of my favorites, and I've only seen him perform once. Dudley Perkins on the track Life Sentence.
It's JB right there.
Yeah, man. This is funny, man, but I'm gonna keep it short.
Right.
So Declaim hit me up on TikTok for some production, and I was excited. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, that's Declaim. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
His first album, man, like and all that old Lupac stuff. You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
you know, I was excited about that. You know, so he had me sending some stuff, and this was kind of like a pay for play thing. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. You know what I'm saying? We got an excellent song out of it, and we were supposed to be doing something else. Dude owes me another song. So if you're watching, you know, Dudley, my bro,
Ready.
that I need that song, bro, please. But you know, he just put his flavor on. It was like the Drunken Master type style flavor on that to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like and he wrote the beat perfectly. His subject matter was perfect. You know what I'm saying? He was talking about personal details in it. You know, I won't say nothing else after that, but
nope.
shout out to Dudley. We appreciate you, bro, for real.
Yep. Dudley the man. Come through with the next track though.
Please.
Thank you in advance, brother.
Track 11, Second to None, featuring Bub Bizzle.
Usual process. And you know, Bub Bizzle, that's JB's guy right there.
Yeah,
so, of course that was easy.
That's my dude. That's what I'm saying. Like we try to bring in anybody from our, you know, particular circles. You know what I mean? Like whether if it's people that we both know or people that we personally know that, that can contribute to what we was doing, you know. And so, you know, Bud was like a no brainer. He's been on like every project I've ever done, probably, you know, like missing maybe like 2 or 3, but you know, he a real dude, you know, Saginaw, Michigan, living in Florida, you know, got his own clothing line and everything down there rocking. So, you know, shout out to Bub. And then plus that's the type of beats that he like rocking on too. You know, like the little harmony chops and stuff like that, you know.
Mhm.
So he was perfect for that.
I was gonna say smooth flow, but the production with that little sample in there, I'm not. I couldn't. I've been trying to figure out what it was, but I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna get too deep into
Yeah.
it.
Offline.
We'll talk off here.
You know.
But it definitely. I like the way that was placed in there with his flow. You know, that really worked out.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, that was dope.
I mean, you know, not to sidetrack, but I mean, production is truly a gift because it's not just making the beat. It's you got to finalize everything. You got to do the edits. You got to place the vocals. Everything has a certain placement, and it's not just your ear and talent for it. It comes with the experience as well. Because I'm sure if y'all go look back on maybe a decade or more ago, y'all probably shake your head and say, I could have did this, you know, at a certain point, or I could have did that way
all
better.
the time.
Oh my God.
All the time. Like,
So,
oh, man.
you know, I give y'all your props because I mean, this is what I love about, you know, listening to music and just being able to hear certain things and appreciate it.
Yeah, man, you live and you learn and you progress, man. You know, like just like you saying, like it's some I got some stuff that's painful to listen to, you know, and I thought it was like the best music that I ever heard when I made it. You know, like my first Reinvented, it's hard to listen to, even though it's dope, and you can see like where the ideas were supposed to go, but like it's so badly mixed, man, that it's just like like I love the album, but it's just like I wish I knew then what I know now.
Yeah, but
And plus, I wish I knew AS then, you know, like, cause I would have been like, hey, AS, I need some help, bro.
Call 'em up.
Like, Jesus Christ, for real.
I'll say, I feel like sometimes I have to remember that on the old track or old albums, I might think I hear all the mistakes, but then people that don't make music don't care. They don't hear
Exactly. They don't hear that.
They don't hear any of that. Because I guess tangent, but I remember there were some people I knew that did music before I started and had an old album. I was like, it was rocking. I was like, man, this joint's crazy. And they were like, you like that one? I don't know, man. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. I don't know what y'all. And they were just like, no. And I remember that. I always remember that. I'm like, yeah, now I understand what they were, how they felt and what they were like. You know, this was off here. Like, I didn't hear none of that. I heard dope music, and that's all I cared about. And
Yep.
So that's the only way I'm able to, get through. Like, okay, it's a lot of mistakes, but layman, like, as long as they rock with it, it's all
you didn't hear it, you know what I'm saying? Just long as you able to bob your head, you didn't hear that little extra, hi hat
right
over here, you know what I'm saying? That I constantly hear. Like you right, I hear stuff like that too, man. I'm like, golly, man. But everybody else be like, yo, that was perfect, bro. I'm like, okay.
All right. Yeah, I take your word for it, bro. But,
yep, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you.
I think that's one of the beauties of two things. One, when you discover an artist early and you continue to listen to the music that they release year after year or every few years, you either do hear progression or, they're stagnant, or you discover an artist that's new to you. And then you go start checking and you see, oh, they got a whole catalog, and you start listening to other stuff. And you start to see exactly the type of things you're talking about if you really do take the time to listen to people's music.
Yep.
And, it's unrelated, or maybe not unrelated, but think the real battle sometimes is finding the balance between your sound and stagnation.
Mm.
You know, like you want to keep your sound, but you don't want to sound like, man, you know, like that's the same old, you know, drum pattern that you've been doing for 20 years. You know, it's kind of like that's always a thing I think about in the back of my mind. You want to have a sound, but you don't want to just be stuck
Right.
in whatever year forever. So it's a fine balance. I think that's I mean, look at Pete Rock. You know what Pete Rock sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
You hear the beat start, you kind of like, okay, yeah, that's probably Pete Rock or DJ Premier. You're like, okay, that's Primo.
Yep.
And you kind of want to have that, but not be like, man, oh, that's Primo from 1993, or you know, and it always sound like, you know,
Right.
Heavy D or somebody else about to rap on something with Pete Rock. No, that's
Right.
But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, back to what we're talking about.
Now, for track 12, I'm going to need you to pronounce the name because I don't want to butcher this. But the track is Where You Been At, featuring
606.
606. All right. That's what I thought it was, but I didn't want to mess it up.
No, I feel, you know.
Shout out 606. Shout out.
606. That's my guy. Critical Mass. Known him for over 20. Almost 20 years. It's been a while, a long time, you know. Crazy enough, he worked with my wife first. And then she was like, hey, my husband does beats. And he happened to do beats and rhyme, and then he heard stuff, and then that's how we hooked up. And we've been releasing albums, and we did, you know, our own production thing under Konami codes. We got albums, you know, instrumental albums under Konami code as well. But rapping wise, he's like, even to the day, still one of the best MCs I know of. Like I never heard anything whack from Six ever. Like he's the real deal, even though sometimes he don't think so. But yeah, he's killing it. So like I said, knew we had to get him on. And when I heard that track, I was like, yeah, I think this is probably the one that he can rock to. Took a little while due to some, you know, fortunate personal stuff, but when he was ready, he came through and knocked it out the park, hook and everything. So yeah, he, like I say, he's another one of those total package artists, you know, MCing, producing, performing, whatever. He can do it all.
Yeah, we need another Critical Mass album, man.
Hey,
let him hear it.
I agree with you. But sometimes it ain't all up to you already know.
I know, but you know.
But yeah, you're right. I hope we can get that going soon. But he has an album actually coming out, a solo album coming soon. I got some production on there as well. So 606 got some new stuff coming probably in the next couple of months, I think.
Okay.
Have to double check. But yeah.
Dope.
But yeah, the process beat was still the same, you know. He send it, I do what I do, and then we send it to the 6.
606, his last project came out last year, right?
Was that last year, the year before?
I think it was the year before. I don't think it was last year.
Yeah, okay. If it was last year, it would have been like maybe very early January, if that. But I think it was
all right
before that. Yeah, he's my bro. He definitely likes things nice and grungy on the sound, which you know works out well for the our DOM stuff. So yeah, you know.
Yep.
Before we go over to track 13, you know, listen to Where You Been At. Mm-hmm. Every time I listen to it, I hear other MCs, and two of them that always stick out is Pazinus and Master Ace.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah.
Like I for some reason I can hear the two of them, you know, rocking with 606 on this track.
You're right. I never even put them on that track, but I could actually hear that.
Yeah, especially given the subject matter and everything else. As soon as you mentioned it, I'm like, you know what I do? I can see that. Shoot, man, if I don't know, put that in the air. If we can pull that off. Hey, either one of them. That next one. like get pasta, man. Never mind. But yeah,
Man, I'll be done.
yeah. I was like, all right, cool. Like, hey,
Yep.
we have to
Never know. Hey, put it out there.
Yeah, anything's possible. You know, we still
Yep.
here, so we see what we can make
Indeed.
happen.
Prowess, the testament, and novelist on the track, Be Water.
Yep. Still same process.
Yeah, same process.
Yeah, yeah. We started, and you know, cause I think I told him like, yo, we can probably get a verse from novelist, and he's like, oh, okay. So he just went in, came with a couple of ideas, and then like, okay, this is probably the one. Did what I could do, and then we just sent it over. And novelist came back what he came back with. That bet, like you said earlier, and I figured like, man, prowess. Definitely got to get on there. So I hit her up, and she was more than gracious to bless us with a killer verse. And hey, the rest is history.
Yep. Shout out to Prowess. She got a new project coming out too. Like
Yes,
everybody working, man. You know, like so.
That's
This
great.
is what I love to see when everybody is working.
Yep.
Next up, amazing track, Quadruple of Trouble, Mental of God, Northeast Beast, and cuts by DJ Rugged One.
And same process once again, you know, but I know. I mean, I guess, you know, after doing the triple to trouble, it's kind of like it was really nothing, you know. That was like easy, and you know, like I think I heard Mental say at some point, maybe in the chat somewhere, but you know, I think with the tracks that we give him, it kind of brings something a little different than he normally does. Put him in a different zone than he normally does. Him and Beast, I would say.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, that just like I said, they work well together. When I heard the track, you know, I could hear both of their voices over, and it's like the tonality of both of their voices fit perfectly on that track as well. So that was just another easy one.
Yeah, I love this smooth braggadocio on that. You know what I mean? Like it don't have to be like, you know, the beat ain't like super banging, but it's, you know, enough. It's riding enough for them to talk their ish on it. You know what I mean? And it's hitting just as hard as, you know, like say if like Jake One produced it or something. To me, personally,
Yeah.
But yeah, they just sound good together, man. Yeah, it's something about their contrast in their voice that works for me. So that one had to happen.
And also Beast, Northeast Beast dropped something recently as well.
Yep.
A couple of weeks ago. So hit up Northeast Beast on Bandcamp. Got some projects over there. Another dope brother.
Dope. What I like about this track, and again, this is going back to the producer, you know, syncing up with the MC. Was that a violin that I was hearing on there?
There was a piece one, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there was.
What I like is when I hear that part, the MC is giving a build up with the violin. Or
the crescendo is crazy.
Yep, I love that.
Yeah, you know, that's one of them things where you like, am I doing too much? Kind of like one of them things, you know, sometimes you're like, yeah. But yeah, that one came out really dope.
Yeah, that's one of them joints where you just throw music theory out the window. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you see where everything land and put it together, and if it fit, it fit.
Got you. Dope. Track 15, featuring Impulse, cuts by DJ Rugged One and FAFO.
Shout out to Impulse. I've been wanting to work with Impulse for a minute. He did a song with Black Mav called Piss. that You know, outside of the
Crazy.
name, the song is amazing. You know, and it was made live on on stream. You know, like so that's another part of it. But Impulse is just he got really fiery lyrics. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's needed right now, especially right now. You know, so when we had the chance to work with him, I reached out to him too, and he was like, "Yeah," he's like, "I've been waiting for y'all to ask to work."
Yeah, pretty much.
Know, and
I love that.
so it came out. I mean, he did what he did his thing on there too.
Yeah.
And those audio clips that Rugged did with like the little water torture drop and all of that is crazy.
Yeah. Hey, I couldn't have thought of that. Like what you did and added that stuff, I would have never.
I don't even know where he got that from. You know, like I
Right.
need that record. Like wherever he got that record from, I need
that. Man, listen, yeah, I was like, trying to rack my brain. Like, do I know where this is from? Like,
I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna ask him right after this.
Hit him up. But yeah, I mean, like I said, ditto everything you said when I pissed. You know, that was like, that's still one of my favorite songs.
Me too.
Off that album, like, yeah, he was. So it was bound to happen.
Didn't Rugged do the scratches on that, or was that Clark?
That was a Rugged one on that one.
Yeah, it was Rugged. See, so it was like, yeah, another no-brainer. Like, hey, you know, I mean, yeah, because hey, man, Impulse just dropped too.
I think they about to.
No, it's coming out.
Yeah, it's coming out.
Yeah, it's coming out.
Everything is in May. It seemed like.
Yeah. So Impulse got going. Yeah, dope. You know, another one we're gonna try to keep going into the future. You know, keep working.
Yes, sir.
It's ill that almost everybody on here is either consistently working about to drop a project or just recently dropped a project. And again, still sharpen steel. I mean, look at your production and look at the lyrical MCs that you have on there.
Hey, that's what it's all about, really. You know, people make it harder than it has to be.
Yeah,
it doesn't really require. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just want to hear dope music. You want to make dope music. It should be that simple. You know.
Yeah. Especially when you can't find nothing dope. You know, like how dope is it that we can come make our own stuff? You know what I mean? Like, because like I go through spells where I feel like ain't nothing dope that came out. You know what I'm saying? Like, so as long as I can like keep making something to keep me going, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to everybody working, especially cats that's my age and such, our age and such.
Yeah, yeah. Because
indeed,
some of them gave up, man. They need to get back out there.
Yeah, man.
Don't come back there with 1980 flow though. You just don't do that. We good.
Nah.
That's all I'm asking.
Don't do the kid koala.
You're right. Yeah. That's all. Man. But
we are on track 16. It's a Vibe featuring Amari and Spectac.
Hey, we spoke on that earlier. Same process. Yep. All that's the JB and that's the bros, and they came through with the track really quick. Came back with the verses and everything else, and hey, no, nothing difficult. Just came back, dope, done. That's what you like to see.
Yeah. Yep. And I appreciate both of them cats because I know they are like super busy.
Oh yeah,
like super busy. You know what I mean? And they actually like sat down and like dedicated some time to us and finishing this track, and then along with them finishing their own project.
Yeah.
So always mad respect to Spectac and Amara.
Yes, sir.
And we are on the outro.
That's the JB on the outro, which kind of makes sense. I did the intro. He did the outro.
Yeah. we had come to a point was just like right before we dropped it that you know we felt like the album was done. You know, we didn't have to do nothing else to it. But you know, I like cohesiveness, you know, like so I was like, yeah, well, we need an outro, whatever it is, you know, we need an outro. So I love like black exploitation, you know, like old funk and you know, like stuff from like the scenes that will never come out on a black exploitation album soundtrack. You know, I love searching for those and just finding stuff to you know, like to kind of fit the concept. So that's what I did on there. You know, like if you are a black exploitation head, you'll know where I got that from. You know what I mean? But I ain't volunteering no.
Yep.
Never
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I just kind of like slapped that together and I sent it over to AS, and I feel like it came out. It ended the album on a perfect note.
Definitely.
Yep.
That's it. My man singing Trouble.
Yeah.
Out.
Right.
There it is. Now, AS, you know, we know about you finalizing with the mixing and mastering. Are you also behind the sequencing as well with the songs?
It's kind of both of us. You know, we both you know, it's an idea, you know, seem like, I think this goes here. Like, okay, this is my list. And I'm like, all right, well, see the list and we put it together with like, what do you think of this? Okay, that's cool. You know, it really doesn't take us long. We're just kind of like, I like that one. All right, we can run with that. Cool.
Yep.
And just go. Yeah.
The process is not difficult.
No. You know.
It's not. Well, once we got a plan in motion, it's not difficult at all. You know, because we both coming to the table with the pieces, you know, to be able to complete the whole thing. So it's never hard. It's never hard.
I mean, I think since we both also done albums for so long, we kind of have an idea of what, you know, how things kind of flow. So we kind of have a similar feel on how things work. And like, yeah, okay, this sounds like an intro. Yeah, it's got to be the first track. Okay, yeah, this here, if it's dragging here, we can move this one over here because that probably yeah, but it doesn't take us any time to really do that. Yeah, so once that's together, then it's just, you know, the wonderful joys of mix and master, and then of course, you know, you always have to get your Pete Rock on with the random beat interludes in between, you know, some songs, just kind of, you know, fill it out. So, you know, we go through and, you know, like, you know, I got these 3 or whatever. Like, I got these 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Put this, yeah, you know what? Switch this one out. Like, all right, cool. You know, slide that one, you know, slide that next track in. And then, so, yeah, it takes nothing.
Just know they always going to be Pete rocked out, though. Yeah. Always cohesive. Yeah. One song is a beat in the middle, and then the next song coming.
Next song.
Yeah.
Always.
So I got to ask both of you this question, being that you're speaking on that. How often do you get approached that, let me rhyme on that, or how come you didn't have someone rhyme on that?
A lot.
Funny you asked that. We got asked about one of them joints just earlier.
Oh, shit. Yeah. I ain't say nothing, but yeah.
Yeah. We got asked about one of them earlier. I think I don't get asked too often, but you know, it'll be like in passing. Somebody like, man, that one track from at the end of so and so. I'm like, I don't even remember what that sound like. I had to go back and like which one is that? I mean, hey, you know, if anybody thinks they're, you know, up to the task, they can hit us up though. If they hear something on anything, you know,
hit us up.
Yeah, hit the DMs or whatever. Be like, yo, what about this track? And we'll make it happen.
Yeah. We ain't Clive Davis. We ain't like, you know, just shutting you down. You know what I mean? Like, if it's dope, it's dope. You know, and we'll consider it. You know what I mean? But I get people in my inbox like that too. And you know, my thing is, if you never even reach out to me for anything else, if you know, to even listen to previous projects, you know, I'm not about to just give you this. I don't know you. You know what I mean? Just like I would have to prove myself to you if I was submitting you beats. You know, we can't work like that. You know, if we can come to the table and figure something out, then that's cool. You know, because I'm not stingy with my beats. I want them out. You know, AS want his beats out.
Yeah.
You know, you just gotta come correct with it, man, and just respect the process. You know, we all grown men, we all work. You know, respect our time. You know what I mean? Time is like the biggest asset we got. You know, and I feel strongly about that. You know, it's like, so if you come into work, you know, like, please have a plan. You know, like, help us get
True.
there, and
Yeah.
we'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, just come with the same care that I put, or that we put into these
Yes.
beats, and that's it. You know, that's like, hey, you know, like I said, we don't know each other, but I mean, you can be like, yo, this is what I do. You know, show me, like, send me a link to some albums or something. Like, yo, I'm trying,
Exactly.
you know, like, hey, you know,
Yeah, we'll research you. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like,
yeah. I listen to anything
Gotta
at this
be.
point. So yeah, you know, all that makes sense, then hey,
yep, we
DMs
all
are
happy.
open for that. Hey, I mean, shoot, yeah. If anybody serious want to do something, yeah. Um, at any point in time, just let us know.
It is. Let's work.
Yeah, that's it. And, hey, as long as somebody, you know, that's the case, then at least for me, I may not make as many like beats per se randomly, but if I know there's a goal or a project, then I'm on it. You know, that's it. Like I know, oh, okay, what you want to do is cool, boom.
Mm-hmm.
We getting it going until it's done. You know, I try to do that. So anybody want to get it going, we can do that.
It is. So AS, are we gonna get another month like nonstop November this year?
Oh yeah, yeah. We, you know, I do that. Guy up here, Backpack Beach. You know, that's kind of what he kicked off in Chicago every November. You know, try to get it going. Last year, you know, at the bike, the bounce idea kind of from JB, and start putting some vocals on each beat, kind of giving the people idea what it sounds like with somebody, you know, actually rapping to all the tracks. But yeah, November for sure. But I think those beats will be coming out soon for people to listen to on the project on its own. So
Nice.
that's definitely coming this year, along with. Well, no, I won't say that. Yeah, we'll say that much. That one's coming, but I got another idea that I want to do for around my birthday in July. But we'll see what we can do.
Dope. This question is actually for both you, but before I get into it, I want to build up to it. Sometimes in the morning, like just before I leave, I like to grab two records and see how I can blend them, a cappella, instrumental, or just if I have an idea already in my head, I go and take those records out and later on before I leave, go play them. When it comes to you putting out your production over acapellas, do you have a certain set, songs that you had in mind? And also, like I was mentioning with my two records, does it come to mind and then you go to it?
Yes. As far as me like trying to figure out what I'm gonna put over the beats, I make the beat, and then like when you finish with a beat, like you've listened to it for like however many times, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you can kind of get an idea in your brain who would sound good on it, or which acapellas that you have that'll match this, because I've matched up like Stevie Wonder with like Zap, you know what I mean? Like if I chopped up a Zap album,
Yeah.
and I think Stevie's note songs and lyrics are in key with what's going on in the beat, just on some unorthodox stuff, I'll throw it on. You know what I mean? Like y'all will see after midnight once I put this new bounce out. Hey, yes, I'm gonna just send it to you. But
Okay.
you'll hear it. Like I got
Mhm.
some unorthodox stuff on this one.
All right.
Yeah. For me, like with let's say nonstop November stuff, it was just whatever I had, and I would kind of make the beat, and then I usually hear somebody Boy's like, dude, that's right. I think I got the J. Cole joint. And then I was like, this will fit here. Or, I think I had a Rhapsody, something. And I'll find that, kind of try to match it up. But yeah, that's usually how it goes. Like, or sometimes as soon as I hear the sample, I kind of already have an idea of who, is actually going to work on that. Like, oh, okay, yeah. I know when I pitch this down or I do this, so-and-so is going to fit perfectly on this one. And so, yeah, that's typically how it goes.
Got you. So AS, what video games you got going on that you recommend right now to anybody?
I don't know if I can fully recommend it for everybody, but Crimson Desert.
Okay.
On that, but it's a lot of time. I'm probably playing that game to the end of the year at this rate, trying to mix and match and do other stuff and be an adult. But yeah, so Crimson Desert. I'm trying to avoid buying another game, but Sorrows, I'm a big Returnal fan, so that one, have my hands itching, but I need to be cool and not mess with that. I'm a big fighting game fan also, so Invincible Versus is about to drop this week, but I gotta be cool on that one as well. Yeah. So it's in the mind though, but yeah, right now it's mainly Crimson Desert is all I really mentally got time for. Or sometimes I do play games with my sister and brother-in-law, so like Night Rain, we still get some of that in, or Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay.
Co-op, but yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much what's currently going on. But cool. I have so many in the backlog, it's disgusting. So I'm trying not to add to that.
Yeah, happens, man. Look, we're older adults now. It's not the same.
Yeah, man. Let me tell you.
I'll tell you now. With my two youngest sons, one's 12 and the other's 18. The oldest one got into Halo because my father used to play Halo, and me and him just recently, probably a few years ago, he started trying to get into the Xbox 360, and me and him opened it up, cleaned it, dusted it out, and everything, got it working, and he's been playing 360 games since then, like religiously.
Okay, that's what's up. Hey, a lot of good stuff on 360.
Yeah, and now him and my youngest son been playing co-op on Halo.
Dope. Hey, a good game never die. It doesn't matter how old it is, as long as the game is good. It don't matter. Yep. Play it. That's dope.
I love seeing that influence of still enjoying the newer games coming out, and then seeing the younger generation be able to still enjoy the older games. Matter of fact, they play the old NES billiards game, and it still cracks me up seeing them play that.
Wow. Man, I ain't seen that in a long time. I mean, but new games try to look like old Nintendo games. Yeah. It's kind of like it's not that foreign to, some kids. They're like, oh, okay, look like the game from Steam or something, so they can play that.
Yeah, I love that.
Hey,
JB, you ready for the Pistons to take this series?
Man, these cats is stressing me out, bro. But I know if they don't get it done on my birthday, I'm gonna be pissed. My birthday is tomorrow, but they better get it done, man. But Kate needs some help, man. Like I don't know what's going on with Duran. I don't know if Reese put a hex on him or something. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's happening, but we need JD, the dog, back, and then we need everybody else on the bench too. Like I'm just saying, where Paul Reed been at? That's my guy. You know what I mean? Put him in. Well, we got to do whatever we can to win, man. Me and my wife, we went to game 2. And we won that game, and that was a great game. If they can do the same thing they did in that game, we'll be straight. It'll be better since we at home anyway. But,
right. Yep.
But just as long as we don't get that one ref, man, that one French bulldog looking ref, man. I don't even know his name, but you know who I'm talking about.
I know.
I hate that dude, man. Every game we got some bull with him, man. Just as long as we ain't got him tomorrow, we should be okay. But I am worried. I ain't gonna front.
Dope. Yeah, man. I'm hoping the Knicks pull through, but I don't know the way I've seen them last few games.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I don't know. I think we all need some sage right now, bro. Like some sheesh.
But in the long run, I gotta say for both the Pistons and the Knicks, I really like the turnaround,
Oh
what
yeah.
they've been doing. Definitely like seeing that.
Oh yeah. Last year's series was fun, man. I was actually in New York last year for my birthday. So like this time
Nice.
last year I was in New York and we got to watch us win that night, and then me and my wife walked to Madison Square Garden.
Hmm.
And that's that was a sight to see. We had to kind of like hide my my pistols,
Yeah.
because Cass was out there tripping. Like
Yeah.
we all passionate about basketball, but yikes. Well, yeah, man. Eastern Conference though, man. We at least represented well,
Yeah.
for our teams this year. So
Yeah.
I'm happy, but I want more though.
Nice. Nice. Now, twice tonight, you gave us insight on the new bounce batch about to drop. Um, you said some obscure joints on there, and you also gave us when it's going to be dropping.
Yeah.
Um, what keeps you going with the series?
Well, so after original bounce batch, I had kind of dropped it off for a minute because I was kind of tired of doing it. You know what I mean? But right after I stopped, I started missing it.
Mhm.
Like so I just started like putting little videos together and stuff. Just to stay busy, and they start sounding good collectively. You know what I mean? Like I'll put them all like in Logic and have them on one track so I can listen to them back to back without going through my notes and playing each individual song. And I just felt like since I'm always screaming "Die Empty," that's what I'm gonna name this series. Like so that's the new series. It's basically bounce batch. It's the same thing. We still bouncing. You know what I mean? But it's just it's more geared towards my path of dying empty.
Okay. All right. I feel that. Feel that.
Yes.
Now, before we go, definitely, again, I appreciate the trouble for taking the time to speak with us at HHDG Media.
Thanks for having us, bro.
Pleasure, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. The new album, The Trouble Is, dropped on April 10th. Definitely go check it out. I'm going to put the link up once again. Go to Bandcamp, support it, and enjoy the production, the lyrical talent that's on there, the cohesiveness, and overall good music to leave a legacy with. So I definitely,
So
look forward to more projects that y'all put out. You definitely have a lot in your catalog, with some of the people that y'all are on this album that you mentioned before, and definitely look forward to more and more. Um,
Yeah, thank you.
oh yeah.
what was I going to say? Sorry. What's coming up next related to the album? Is there any possibility of maybe any visuals or physical?
Physical, we're trying to get that worked out. So at the very least, some CDs should be coming. So we should have some CDs for the people, and
Nice.
we'll see what else we can get figured out. But that'll probably be the first thing.
Yeah. We have possible. I'm still waiting to hear back from Flo, but there may be a video coming to Knock Knock. So
Okay.
y'all will get to see Rusty Jux and Craig G and then Flo in a
Nice.
video. Now, if me and AS can magically appear in Brooklyn somewhere, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We'll be in, you know what I
Might have to
mean?
go
But
meet y'all out there for that one.
yeah,
Right.
but I mean, I'll hop on the flight to LaGuardia in a minute. You know what I mean? But as far as like visuals, that's probably like the next thing coming up.
Okay. Dope. All right. Two more questions. One, what made you come with the name The Trouble Is?
Just Well, basically just trying to figure out what's next. They're like, all right, we did double trouble, triple the trouble. What would trouble works, you know? And then it was just like, what about trouble will? Okay, bet that works. That sounds good. You know, that was just
we
bounce around ideas.
We was facing the EPMD, strictly business, unfinished business, back to business, you know, dilemma. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We had to like figure out, you know, or what sounded dope with trouble, you know. So we had to, you know, explain the trouble is, you know, and it made sense to, you know, the trouble is Agent Smith 78 NJB Swift. So we have concepts sometimes, you know. Sometimes we just be throwing shit out, you know, but
try not to be too deep with it.
Yeah, we can't be, you know, we don't want to lose them, you know.
Right.
Got you. All right. Cool. So earlier we were speaking on legacy. The two of you definitely doing that with the music.
Thank you.
When anyone close to you would think of that word, and you in particular, what do you think that they would say?
That's hard, man, because you know, I never really think about what other people think about me, you know what I'm saying? As far as you know, if it's not my family, you know what I mean, or somebody that I really care about, I don't put myself in a place to even wonder, you know, because that could be heavy. But my kids like my music, you know what I'm saying? Like I like the fact that my 17-year-old daughter has spread my music around her high school. You know what I mean? And she lives in like a pretty hoity-toity like area, you know what I'm saying? But you know, like her little classmates is like my fans now. You know, like many of them have bought my music. You know what I mean? Like, so as far as anybody else, you know, like if I'm making my family proud, you know, my wife proud, my sons and my daughter proud, you know, my grandmama, I'm good with that.
You're good,
yeah. You know, and my musical brothers, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, I care what they think too, you know.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much the same, you know. It's always family first, God, family first.
Yeah.
And you know, people around us, you know, as long as well, they don't say I'm putting out garbage, then hey, I'm good. You know, like hey, all I can do is try my best, and all I care about is like, hey, you know, he has some dope stuff in his day, or he kept putting out quality. You know,
you're
not gonna like everything, but hey, if it's quality, then you know, that's all I'm striving for.
Yeah. I'm just happy that you know in 20 years we'll be able to go press play on this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'll be 70 years old in 20 years. You know what I mean? And being able to press play on that and go back and remember this. You know what I'm saying?
It's beautiful,
priceless, man. It's priceless.
There it is. And we're gonna leave it on that high note. Much respect to the trouble.
Hey, appreciate you.
You know, give you shout outs, you know, let the world know where they can reach out to you.
Hey, yeah, I mean, for me, like as far as Aiden Smith 78, anywhere, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Messenger, wherever, you know, reach me there. Go to our Bandcamp, you know, the Troubles Bandcamp. You hit that link there. Send us a message you want to try to get, you know, both of us, you know, a message at once. Besides that, shout out to everybody that, you know, contributed to the project. Appreciate y'all. Y'all came through making it, you know, as good as it is. Be on the lookout for more stuff. DOM, Critical Mass, Swordcast. There's probably 8 million people I want to take forever. But yeah, appreciate everybody, man. Thank y'all.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my family, my wife, my kids, all of DOM. You know, AS, Critical Mass, everybody that was on the album. Shout out to Bandcamp today. We was actually placed on the
Indeed.
list for, you know, one of April's best hip hop albums, you know, like, so whoever wrote that article, I don't know who this cat is, but salute to you. We appreciate you, man. That
Yes, sir.
literally made my day. I saw that as soon as I woke up this morning, and that made my day. You know what I'm saying? Shout out
Couldn't
to
believe it.
you, the one who told us about it. But
Yes, sir.
yeah, shout out to everybody, man. Everybody who bought the album, everybody who listened to the album. We appreciate you.
Yeah, trying to remember the person's name. I know their first name is Philip. I'll check later, but
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look
shout out
in.
to them.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Philip, you the man. Appreciate you.
Indeed. So once again, big respect to the Troubles and their new album, The Trouble Is. Go out there and support it. I put the Bandcamp in the link. And it's also in the comments. So y'all definitely go check that out. Support, share it. And once again, like you said, this is part of a legacy. Put out dope music. We got dope MCs that are actually, y'all know each other, you know, y'all like fam. And that creates some of the best chemistry in music. So big salute to y'all, because this is where it's at. And again, legacy. You know, that word is powerful, and y'all definitely show it through your music.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Thank you so much, brother. We appreciate it, man.
Yep.
Appreciate it. On behalf of HHDG Media, we're going to say peace.
Peace.
Peace.